The reason why Lakers should not hire Giannis Antetokounmpo. Stay until the end to know everything, but first leave your like and subscribe to the channel. With LeBron James approaching the final stretch of his legendary career, the Los Angeles Lakers are entering a pivotal transition. The arrival of Luka Doncic signals a fresh direction, one centered on youth, long-term strategy, and sustainable team building. At just 26, Luka embodies the qualities of a modern franchise cornerstone: high basketball IQ, versatility, leadership, and star power. For the Lakers, this isn't just about replacing LeBron. It's about redefining their identity. Doncic steps into a team that has long revolved around LeBron's gravity. 4 years, roster moves, coaching strategies, and even the team's pace of play were tailored to maximize James' unique talents. Now the focus is shifting. The organization is committed to building a competitive team that revolves around Doncic's strengths, prioritizing adaptability, cohesion, and long-term viability over short-term hype. In this context, the growing buzz around Giannis Antetokounmpo's potential availability raises an important question. Should the Lakers pursue the Greek superstar to pair with Luka? On paper, the answer may seem obvious. Giannis is a two-time MVP, a dominant force on both ends of the floor, and one of the league's most respected competitors. Pairing him with Doncic could form one of the most formidable duos in NBA history. But beneath the surface, such a move could carry significant consequences, ones that might undermine the very foundation of the Lakers' new direction. Pursuing Giannis would likely require an aggressive trade package or a max salary commitment in free agency. Either route comes with heavy costs, valuable draft capital, promising young talent, and crucial salary cap flexibility. For a franchise that has already signaled its intent to construct a balanced, deep roster around Doncic, this could compromise the vision. The beauty of Luka's game lies in how he elevates those around him. He doesn't need another high-usage superstar beside him. What he needs are reliable role players who can shoot, defend, and adapt to his playmaking genius. Wings who can switch on defense, bigs who can stretch the floor, and guards who can space the court are far more essential than adding another name for headlines. The NBA is littered with examples of super teams that failed due to lack of chemistry, depth, or shared vision. The Lakers themselves experienced this with the Westbrook experiment, a cautionary tale in prioritizing names over fit. Chasing another superstar, even one as talented as Giannis, could repeat that mistake. That's not to say the Lakers should avoid all marquee names. Complementary stars, players who enhance Doncic's game without overshadowing it, can still be part of the equation. But the key is precision. Every move must align with the broader goal, establishing a sustainable, title-contending team for the next decade. There's also the financial dimension to consider. Adding a second Supermax contract to the books would severely limit the Lakers' ability to maneuver. Flexibility in today's NBA isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Injuries, performance fluctuations, and sudden market shifts demand that franchises stay nimble. Locking up cap space in two high-cost stars makes that nearly impossible. Doncic represents more than just a new face, he represents a philosophy shift. The Lakers now have a chance to build a team where chemistry, depth, and continuity matter as much as individual brilliance. Risking that vision for a high-profile, high-cost acquisition could backfire in ways that are difficult to reverse. In the chapters ahead, we'll examine the financial implications, the basketball dynamics, and the strategic factors that should steer the Lakers away from pursuing Giannis Antetokounmpo. While the idea may be tempting, the smarter path might be the one that requires patience, discipline, and a clear long-term vision. The future is here, and it wears number 77. When the Lakers secured Luka Doncic, they didn't just bring in a superstar, they acquired the foundation for a completely new organizational blueprint. Unlike the LeBron era, which revolved around short-term championship windows and veteran-heavy rosters, the Doncic era calls for longevity, adaptability, and developmental focus. It's not just about competing now, it's about building a dynasty. Luka's arrival comes at a crucial time. With LeBron's inevitable departure looming, the team needs a leader not just on the court, but in the locker room and within the franchise culture. Doncic is uniquely equipped for that role. He combines elite skill with an unselfish playing style, capable of controlling the tempo of games and making his teammates better. His presence allows the Lakers to shift their priorities, from chasing aging stars to investing in rising talent and organizational stability. In light of this, building around Doncic means more than giving him the ball. It means curating a roster that complements his strengths and fills the gaps in his game. That requires intelligent, role-specific acquisitions, players who can shoot off the catch, switch defensively, and handle pressure situations. It also means prioritizing internal development and scouting, finding diamonds in the rough who can grow within the system. This context makes the idea of adding Giannis Antetokounmpo not just risky, but potentially counterproductive. Yes, Giannis is an elite player. He brings defensive dominance, relentless effort, and transition explosiveness. But fitting him next to Luka isn't as seamless as it appears on paper. Both players are high-usage, ball-dominant forces who prefer to operate inside the arc. Giannis excels when surrounded by shooters and spacing. Luka thrives when he has full command of the offense and shooters around him to punish defenses. Combining the two could lead to a redundancy in play styles, clogging the lane and limiting offensive fluidity. Additionally, Giannis's presence would necessitate massive sacrifices. To acquire him via trade, the Lakers would likely have to give up multiple first-round picks and part ways with key contributors, possibly even some of the young core currently being molded around Doncic. And if it were a free agent signing, a supermax deal would tie up precious cap space for years to come. This is where the true dilemma lies. By investing everything in two megastars, the Lakers would be reverting to a model that proved unsustainable in recent seasons. Depth wins championships. Injuries happen. Stars have off nights. It's the players around them, the reliable defenders, floor spacers, and energy guys, who often swing playoff series. The Lakers front office has indicated that the post-LeBron era will be defined by strategic spending, youth development, and roster depth. It's a wise move. In today's NBA, flexibility is just as valuable as talent. Roster construction needs to be fluid, allowing for mid-season adjustments, opportunistic trades, and injury insurance. Doncic gives the Lakers something special, a long-term centerpiece who doesn't demand the ball at the expense of others. He enhances systems. He doesn't need isolation after isolation to dominate. This makes him the perfect engine for a modern, balanced team. Adding Giannis would shift the entire architecture of the current plan. Instead of building a well-rounded squad, resources would be funneled into making two superstars work, both stylistically and financially. It would require surrounding them with budget-friendly veterans and improving young players, limiting the team's ability to adjust or grow. There's also the mental toll to consider. Super teams bring enormous pressure. Every loss is amplified. Chemistry becomes fragile. Luka has already shown he can handle expectations, but layering on a second dominant personality could complicate leadership dynamics and team hierarchy. For now, the Lakers should embrace what they have: a singular talent in Doncic, a clean slate post-LeBron, and the rare opportunity to construct a team with intention and vision. This isn't about turning down star talent. It's about making the right decisions at the right time with the future firmly in mind. The next chapter won't be about flash, it will be about fit. And Luka, as the centerpiece of that journey, deserves a team built with care, not one reshaped on impulse. It's easy to be dazzled by the allure of Giannis Antetokounmpo. A two-time league MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion. His resume speaks for itself. In terms of talent and accolades, there are few in the NBA who can match what the Greek freak brings to the table. But talent alone does not guarantee success, especially when it comes at a price that could cripple a franchise's future. That's the real concern for the Lakers. Bringing Giannis to Los Angeles wouldn't be a simple matter of signing a superstar. It would require the Lakers to dismantle much of the flexibility they've been carefully preserving for the post-LeBron era. Whether through a trade or free agency, the financial and strategic price of acquiring Giannis is massive, and potentially destructive to the balanced roster that Luka Doncic needs to thrive. Let's start with a trade scenario. If the Lakers were to pursue Giannis via trade, they'd need to give up a treasure trove of assets. Think multiple unprotected first-round picks, pick swaps, and a combination of promising young players, Possibly names like Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, or even future lottery talent. In short, the very core that's being cultivated to grow around Doncic would be gutted. That kind of deal might make sense if the Lakers were in a win-now mode with a short window, as they were during the peak of LeBron's tenure. But with Doncic at the center, the window isn't closing, it's just opening. Luka is entering his prime and can anchor a team for the next decade. Throwing away that potential timeline for a short-term power boost undermines the entire project. On the other hand, if Giannis were to become a free agent, signing him would demand a supermax contract, potentially over $60 million annually under the new salary cap projections. That kind of commitment leaves very little financial breathing room. Even with creative cap management, it would force the Lakers to fill the rest of the roster with veteran minimum contracts or low-cost projects. Essentially, it would recreate the exact conditions that have plagued other super team experiments: top-heavy payrolls and bottom-tier depth. Look no further than the Brooklyn Nets' failed trio of Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. Or the Clippers with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, whose constant injuries and lack of roster balance derailed their title aspirations. Talent isn't everything. Depth, health, and fit matter more than ever in a league defined by versatility and unpredictability. Giannis and Luka, while both extraordinary, don't make for a naturally compatible duo. Their styles overlap in problematic ways. Both need space in the paint. Both are best with the ball in their hands. And neither is a consistent knockdown shooter from deep. Without proper spacing, their coexistence could stifle offensive rhythm and create defensive challenges on the other end. The NBA game is changing. Teams are winning with multiple high IQ role players, seamless systems, and the ability to adapt on the fly. The Denver Nuggets built around Nikola Jokic by investing in players who fit his style. Shooters, cutters, defenders who don't need the ball to be effective. Boston, too, found success through roster depth, two-way versatility, and interchangeable pieces. The Lakers have a chance to follow that path. The Giannis temptation, however, is powerful. It would make headlines. It would sell jerseys. It would generate buzz. But none of those things translate directly to wins. What translates to wins is building a team that can withstand the grind of an 82-game season, adjust to playoff matchups, and support their superstar without over-reliance. Luka Doncic doesn't need a second alpha to succeed. He needs stability, shooters who stretch the floor, defenders who don't compromise schemes, and a coaching staff that maximizes his abilities. Adding Giannis could overwhelm the team's strategic focus and eliminate the very advantages the Lakers are working to secure. This is a crossroads moment for the franchise. One path leads to immediate excitement and long-term uncertainty. The other leads to slow, methodical progress, but with a far higher ceiling. The Lakers are not just trying to stay relevant. They're trying to build something that lasts. And in this case, patience might be more valuable than panic moves for star power. In recent NBA history, the franchises that achieve lasting success don't rely solely on star pairings. They build balanced, resilient rosters. The myth of the Big Three, or even the dynamic duo, has gradually given way to a more nuanced approach. Depth, adaptability, and internal growth. For the Lakers entering the Luka Doncic era, this philosophy is not just preferable, it's essential. One of the most dangerous traps a franchise can fall into is overinvesting in stardom at the expense of roster construction. This is the fundamental risk that comes with the pursuit of Giannis Antetokounmpo. While the idea of pairing him with Doncic may sound unbeatable on paper, basketball games aren't won on paper. They're won by cohesive units, defined roles, and execution. With LeBron James on his way out, the Lakers are in a rare position. They aren't being forced into a full rebuild, nor are they stuck in a win-now panic mode. Instead, they stand at the intersection of transition and opportunity. Luka gives them a true franchise anchor, and the roster can now be molded with intention. This is the ideal moment to emphasize team balance. That starts with depth. Depth means having multiple contributors across all positions. Players who can step in and perform without the entire game plan revolving around them. It allows teams to absorb injuries, experiment with lineups, and maintain energy throughout the grueling regular season and into the playoffs. More importantly, It gives a team the flexibility to counter the varied playstyles and schemes they'll encounter from round to round. A team that relies too heavily on two high-usage superstars runs into a common set of problems: predictable offense, poor spacing, and reduced bench impact. If Giannis were added to the Lakers, his massive contract and ball-dominant tendencies would demand a shift away from shared responsibility. That kind of shift could slow player development, hinder Luka's full playmaking range, and weaken the team's versatility. Instead of devoting enormous resources to one player, the Lakers would be wise to invest in 2 or 3 mid-tier contributors, players who may not draw headlines but who thrive in their roles. Think of the impact that players like Bruce Brown, Derek White, or Dante DiVincenzo have had for contending teams. They may not be superstars, but they provide exactly what winning teams need: energy, defense, unselfishness, and the ability to rise to the moment when it matters most. Doncic's playing style naturally supports this type of team. He's a master at controlling the pace, drawing attention, and finding open teammates. Surrounding him with capable shooters, high-motor defenders, and mobile bigs makes far more sense than pairing him with another inside-dominant playmaker like Giannis. Luka doesn't need a co-star who duplicates his skill set. He needs complementary players who multiply his impact. It's also worth noting the psychological and leadership dynamics at play. Luka is ready to be the face of the franchise, both on and off the court. Bringing in another global superstar could blur the lines of leadership and identity. Who takes the last shot? Who leads in the locker room? Who sets the tone during adversity? These aren't minor questions. They shape the team culture. There's a reason why some of the best-built teams today, like the Denver Nuggets and Miami Heat, have emphasized consistency and internal development over headline-making moves. They've built identities. They've trusted their stars and supported them with depth and character. That's exactly the model the Lakers can follow with Luka. Giannis, for all his greatness, doesn't solve the Lakers' real needs. He isn't a knockdown shooter. He doesn't stretch the floor. His style requires constant defensive help and high usage. While he brings defensive excellence and effort, those attributes can be found in less expensive, more specialized role players who don't require the offense to run through them. Ultimately, building a champion isn't about collecting the biggest names. It's about fit, function, and focus. Luka Doncic offers a rare foundation, a superstar who makes others better. The Lakers shouldn't complicate that with an oversized move that strains the roster structure and weakens its versatility. Instead, they should prioritize quality depth, intelligent acquisitions, and a long-term system that maximizes Luka's unique abilities. That's how championships are built, not just won but sustained. In today's NBA, championships aren't won solely by star power or headline trades, they're won through smart financial management. While on-court talent gets the spotlight, it's the front office's ability to maintain flexibility under the salary cap that often separates contenders from pretenders. For the Lakers, moving into the Luka Doncic era requires embracing this reality. Financial prudence isn't just advisable, it's non-negotiable. The post-LeBron landscape in Los Angeles offers a rare opportunity, a clean financial reset. With LeBron's contract coming off the books, the Lakers will have significant cap space, valuable trade assets, and the freedom to shape the team around Doncic with a long-term mindset. This isn't a window to be squandered on impulsive big-name acquisitions that carry enormous financial baggage. Enter Giannis Antetokounmpo. Acquiring Giannis would immediately compromise the Lakers' newfound flexibility. Whether it's through a supermax free agent signing or a blockbuster trade, the financial implications are steep. We're talking about committing 35 to 40% of the team's salary cap to a single player, on top of what Doncic will already command. That's 2 contracts potentially exceeding $100 million combined per season, leaving minimal room to fill out the rest of the roster with quality talent. The NBA's collective bargaining agreement punishes top-heavy teams. The new second apron rules impose significant restrictions. Teams that exceed the upper salary threshold lose access to mid-level exceptions, face trade limitations, and can't aggregate salaries in deals. Simply put, the margin for error becomes razor-thin. If the Lakers lock themselves into 2 supermax deals, they'll be boxed into a corner with few escape routes. Look at recent examples. The Phoenix Suns, after loading up on Kevin Durant, Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, now struggle to find competent depth. Their bench is filled with veterans on minimum deals, and the coaching staff is forced to rely heavily on their stars every night. Injuries or fatigue derail any consistency. The Lakers could easily find themselves in the same trap. In contrast, financial flexibility allows for creative team building. It means being able to sign high-value free agents in the mid-tier salary range, players who can start or come off the bench without being liabilities. It means being able to pivot mid-season when opportunities arise, or when injuries force unexpected adjustments. It also means being able to retain and develop young players without immediately triggering cap penalties. Luka Doncic deserves this level of support. His talent creates options. He's the type of player who can elevate good role players to great performance levels. That's why investing in balanced depth around him is not only more cost-effective but also more aligned with how he plays the game. A deep, versatile roster complements Luka's passing, shot creation and slow-tempo control far better than another max-level star would. Moreover, a financially disciplined approach enables the Lakers to extend their competitive window. Instead of burning through assets and cap room in a single off-season, they can build progressively, evaluating each season's results and refining accordingly. This strategy not only creates a healthier locker room culture, where roles are clearer and responsibilities shared, but also guards against the volatility of the NBA landscape. Giannis is undeniably one of the best players in the world. But committing to him financially in the current era is a gamble that could lock the Lakers into a fragile and inflexible roster structure for the better part of a decade. That's a long time to be stuck with limited options, especially when a more sustainable path is within reach. Let's not forget that cap space isn't just for signing players, it's also an asset in itself. Cap space allows the Lakers to absorb contracts in trades, take advantage of distressed sellers, or target undervalued players on expiring deals. It gives them leverage, something every smart front office covets. In the upcoming seasons, as Luka leads this team into a new phase, the Lakers should treat cap space like gold. Every dollar spent should be tied to system fit, roster need, and long-term planning. Splashy moves that sell tickets and generate buzz may appeal to fans and media, but championships are built on discipline, depth, and foresight. Giannis may be available. The opportunity may be tempting. But the cost, financially and structurally, is simply too high. In this modern NBA, where rules evolve to reward adaptability and penalize excess, financial flexibility isn't just a tool. It's a competitive advantage. And the Lakers, with Luka Doncic as their centerpiece, are perfectly positioned to wield it, if they choose patience over panic. At first glance, the pairing of Luka Doncic and Giannis Antetokounmpo sounds like a basketball dream. Two transcendent talents, both perennial All-NBA players, both capable of taking over games in unique ways. But dig deeper, and what seems like a fantasy becomes a complex dilemma of play styles, spacing, and on-court synergy. Modern basketball thrives on fit, on how pieces interact and elevate each other's strengths. Teams no longer succeed by simply stacking names. They win by building systems where roles are clearly defined and complementary. That's why, despite their individual greatness, Luka and Giannis may not be the ideal pairing. Let's start with offensive structure. Luka Doncic controls games with tempo and precision. He is a methodical orchestrator, often operating in the half-court, manipulating defenders through pick-and-rolls, post-ups, and isolations. He slows the game down, probing the defense and finding the right pass or shot at the right moment. His playmaking is at its best when surrounded by shooters who can space the floor and bigs who can roll or stretch. Giannis, on the other hand, is a transition terror. His game flourishes in motion, fast breaks, slashes to the rim, straight-line drives. He's unstoppable in space but limited when the paint is congested. His shot creation is based heavily on physicality and rim pressure, not finesse or shooting. He's also a below-average free throw and three-point shooter, which allows defenses to sag off and protect the paint. Now imagine those two players sharing the court for 35 minutes a night. Where's the space? Both Luka and Giannis do their best work with the ball in their hands. Both demand paint access to be truly effective. Both require specific types of teammates, mainly shooters and defenders, to maximize their skill sets. Playing them together would force one to compromise their game, and given their stature and status, that's a recipe for diminished impact or worse, frustration. Off-ball, Luka isn't a catch-and-shoot threat. He's not the type of player who thrives while watching others run the offense. Giannis isn't either. He's not a floor spacer or a threat on the perimeter. Neither naturally complements the other's strengths. Instead of playing off one another, their presence might clog each other's lanes and limit efficiency. Defensively, Giannis is a monster, a versatile, elite help defender who can protect the rim and disrupt passing lanes. Luka, by contrast, is still growing defensively. He's improved in positioning and effort, but he's not known for his lateral quickness or ability to guard on the perimeter. This disparity in defensive strengths could create uneven matchups, where Giannis is forced to overcompensate and Luka is targeted in switches, especially during high-stakes playoff games. While Giannis could help cover for some of Luka's defensive shortcomings, it would come at the cost of exhausting his energy on that end. Energy he needs to maintain his offensive dominance. Over the course of a playoff run, that trade-off becomes harder to manage. The bigger issue is how the rest of the roster would need to adjust. To make a Luka-Giannis pairing work, the Lakers would have to surround them with elite shooting, versatile defenders, and high IQ role players. But acquiring and retaining those types of players becomes extremely difficult under the financial strain of 2 supermax contracts. Suddenly, the Lakers are asking fringe veterans or developing prospects to carry the load that should be supported by a deeper core. Basketball is about more than talent. It's about rhythm, spacing, and roles. Even great players can get in each other's way if they aren't strategically aligned. History is full of elite duos that didn't mesh. Westbrook and Harden, Kyrie and Durant, even Kobe and Dwight. Talent doesn't guarantee chemistry, and chemistry often trumps talent in the playoffs. Luka Doncic has already shown the ability to thrive when the team is built to his rhythm. Think of his best moments in Dallas, surrounded by shooters like Tim Hardaway Jr. and stretch bigs like Maxi Kleber, with the court spaced and options at every angle. That kind of ecosystem empowers his creativity and decision-making. Giannis, likewise, flourished when the Bucks built around his specific needs. Brook Lopez spacing the floor, Jrue Holiday defending the perimeter, Chris Middleton offering mid-range scoring. That structure made him a champion. Remove that scaffolding and even a player of his caliber can struggle. So the question isn't whether Luka and Giannis are great, it's whether they're great together. And based on style, skill set, and required infrastructure, the answer leans toward no. Great teams are built on harmony. They're built on enhancing one another's value, not stepping into each other's space. Luka needs freedom and spacing. Giannis needs movement and open lanes. Together, they may end up stepping on each other's toes more than elevating each other's games. The Lakers should aim for a team where Luka's genius is amplified by shooting, defense, and flow, not one where he and another star fight for space in the same areas of the floor. The NBA is a star-driven league. It's built on personalities, highlight reels, and marketable names that dominate social media and headlines. For decades, the Lakers have thrived within this culture, attracting legends like Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. The franchise's identity is synonymous with superstar talent. But in today's game, the illusion of star power can be dangerous. It can lure even the most historic franchises into decisions that prioritize short-term appeal over long-term sustainability. With Luka Doncic stepping into the spotlight, the Lakers face a critical choice. Stay true to a modern, disciplined team-building model, or fall back into chasing flashy names at the cost of real cohesion. Giannis Antetokounmpo's potential availability plays directly into this tension. He is, without question, a global icon. His name alone brings media attention, international fans, jersey sales, and instant respect. In many ways, he fits the Laker brand perfectly: dominant, physical, charismatic. Pairing him with Luka would electrify headlines and instantly become the talk of the league. But building a championship team isn't about trending on Twitter or dominating the ESPN ticker. It's about constructing a system that works under playoff pressure. It's about identifying and investing in role players who make winning plays when the lights are brightest. It's about maintaining depth, identity, and culture. None of that is guaranteed by acquiring a superstar. If anything, the big-name obsession has sunk more teams than it has lifted in the past decade. The Brooklyn Nets, who loaded up on Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden, never made it past the second round of the playoffs. The Clippers, with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, have dealt with constant injuries, lack of continuity, and early exits. These teams had all the talent in the world, but talent alone didn't solve deeper issues. What often goes overlooked is how superstar combinations affect the rest of the roster. 2 max-level contracts squeeze the budget. The team is then forced to sign minimum salary veterans, often past their prime or mismatched with the team's style. The result is a top-heavy team where the margin for error is thin, and any injury or slump can derail the season. Luka Doncic deserves better than that. He deserves a roster where he isn't forced to carry the entire offensive burden every night, but also isn't forced to share control with a co-star whose style clashes with his. What he needs is the space to lead, the tools to execute his vision, and teammates who elevate his brilliance rather than duplicate it. The allure of a second superstar can also cloud decision-making in the front office. Draft picks become trade chips. Player development is deprioritized. Coaching staffs are pressured to cater to star egos instead of fostering a coherent system. The entire organization tilts toward win now, even when the roster may not be ready. And when things don't go as planned, the franchise is left with no assets, no identity, and no exit strategy. The Lakers post-LeBron have a chance to break that cycle. They can build around Doncic with intention, finding high IQ players, investing in player development, and maintaining cap flexibility. That doesn't mean ignoring stars altogether, it means being selective. It means prioritizing fit over fame. It means saying no even to great players when the cost outweighs the value. Luka isn't a player who needs a big-name sidekick to be effective. He needs support, not a spotlight rival. He thrives in control, in rhythm, in systems that move with him. Adding a player like Giannis could disrupt that cadence, not enhance it. There's also a cultural aspect. Luka is positioned to lead the next era of Lakers basketball. Bringing in another alpha personality could muddy the waters. Who's the true leader? Who gets the final say in huddles? Who drives the locker room culture? The Lakers need clarity, not conflict. They need to build around Luka, not build next to him. Star power isn't going away. It will always have a place in the league and in the hearts of fans. But for a team trying to build something lasting, something deeper than headlines, the focus must shift. Depth, flexibility, chemistry, and vision are the new pillars of success. And that's the real test for the Lakers. Will they chase the illusion of instant glory by acquiring another superstar, or will they commit to the harder, smarter path of building a team around their young generational talent? The correct choice won't be the loudest one, but it will be the one that leads to banners, not just billboards. Every successful franchise in the NBA shares a common thread, a strong, sustainable culture. Not just a history of success or a list of superstar alumni, but a true organizational identity, one that governs decision-making, player development, accountability, and team chemistry. For the Los Angeles Lakers, entering a new phase with Luka Doncic, the time has come to prioritize that kind of cultural foundation over the chaos of impulsive, star-driven moves. The pursuit of Giannis Antetokounmpo, while understandable from a talent standpoint, risks disrupting the careful foundation the Lakers are trying to lay. It could introduce instability into a team that needs clarity, patience, and consistency. Great basketball cultures aren't built overnight. They're shaped over seasons of shared struggle, growth, and trust. Look at the Golden State Warriors before their dynasty began. They developed internal talent, trusted their system, and empowered their core. Look at Miami under Eric Spoelstra, where work ethic and role definition matter more than status. Even the San Antonio Spurs, arguably the league's most respected model of sustainability, emphasized fit, humility, and system before all else. This is the direction the Lakers must now choose to follow. With Luka as the centerpiece, the franchise has the opportunity to grow something organic. He's still young, still moldable, and capable of leading a new generation of Lakers with his combination of on-court brilliance and basketball intelligence. But to make the most of that, the team around him must be designed with purpose. That means valuing cohesion over chaos. Superstar additions like Giannis don't just affect the salary cap or the lineup. They shift the tone of the locker room. They change the conversation from, "Who are we building into?" to, "How do we manage two egos, two brands, two agendas?" These subtle dynamics can tear at a team's chemistry, particularly when roles become unclear or expectations aren't aligned. Right now, the Lakers are in a position of rare cultural flexibility. They can build new norms around Luka. They can set a standard of unselfishness, role balance, and shared responsibility. They can become the kind of team that develops talent instead of trading it away, that rewards effort and fit rather than name value. And it starts with leadership. Luka has the qualities of a cultural leader: calm under pressure, a relentless competitor, a creative thinker on the court. What he needs around him are players and coaches who buy into a shared vision, not ones who demand their own spotlight. Giannis, for all his greatness, comes with the weight of expectations, media scrutiny, and a personal brand that inevitably becomes central to the team narrative. There's also the question of locker room leadership. When you put two generational stars together, especially ones with different personalities and styles, the chemistry can be unpredictable. Who commands the huddle? Who gets the final word during a fourth-quarter timeout? These aren't minor details. They define how teams function in pressure moments. And when those questions go unanswered, resentment and dysfunction often follow. Contrast that with a team that's built around one clear leader. That's what the Lakers could have with Luka. A stable core that grows together, coached with consistency, and led by a player whose game invites others in rather than pushing them out. That's the formula that leads to team-wide buy-in, and buy-in is what turns talent into wins. Building culture also means resisting the urge to hit fast forward. It's tempting for a team like the Lakers, used to attention and expectation, to chase another banner by skipping steps. But the truth is, the most successful eras in basketball often come from gradual, intentional growth. The Lakers' own 2000s dynasty didn't happen in a flash. It followed years of strategic moves, tough playoff losses, and internal development. Even the LeBron AD championship team in 2020, though built quickly, had the benefit of clear roles and defensive commitment. That balance could be lost in the scramble to fit two ball-dominant stars like Luka and Giannis into one system. Especially when the supporting cast would have to be sacrificed to make the deal possible in the first place. What the Lakers need now isn't another superstar. They need continuity, accountability. A system that develops talent, builds trust, and rewards effort over ego. And they need to give Luka the keys, not just to the offense but to the identity of the team moving forward. Culture isn't flashy. It doesn't sell as many jerseys. But it wins games. It builds dynasties. And for the Lakers, choosing culture over chaos may be the only way to create a legacy that outlasts the LeBron era and defines the next generation. In a league driven by urgency and instant gratification, few teams have the discipline to play the long game. The temptation to accelerate success is everywhere. Fans demand it, media amplifies it, and ownership often caves under the pressure. But the truth is, the NBA rewards those who wait with purpose. For the Lakers, on the verge of the Luka Doncic era, the smartest move they can make is no drastic move at all. Instead of cashing in their assets for a second superstar like Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Lakers should invest in long-term infrastructure, a development pipeline, a reliable rotation, and a coherent identity. That may not create instant fireworks, but it builds a stronger fire. Luka is not a player with a narrow championship window. He isn't 35 with 2 years left of elite play, he's entering his prime. That gives the Lakers something rare: time. Time to evaluate, to experiment, to grow. It's a luxury few franchises ever have, and one they must not waste on an aggressive gamble that compromises the entire structure being built. Many front offices operate as if every year is make or break. That mindset leads to rushed trades, bloated contracts, and an endless cycle of chasing what looks good instead of what works. But for franchises that break out of that cycle, like the Denver Nuggets with Nikola Jokic or the Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, The rewards are massive. Those teams didn't rush. They invested in their core, nurtured role players, and made selective moves only when the timing and fit were perfect. The Lakers should take note. Instead of going all in on a megastar, they can monitor the market for high-level role players who fit Luka's skill set. They can target undervalued veterans or ascending young talent. They can maintain draft flexibility, keeping their first-round picks to either develop internally or use as capital when the right opportunity emerges, not just the biggest one. There's a difference between movement and progress. Trading for Giannis might create movement, headlines, jersey sales, league-wide buzz, but it may not bring true progress toward a championship. If the roster becomes top-heavy, the flexibility disappears. If the chemistry suffers, so does the record. And if Luka isn't surrounded by a system that plays to his strengths, his prime could be squandered. Patience doesn't mean passivity. It means making smart, deliberate choices with long-term payoff in mind. For instance, investing in player development can turn mid-tier draft picks into valuable rotation pieces. Establishing a consistent coaching philosophy allows young players to grow within a familiar system. Building a competitive, but not desperate, team culture encourages buy-in from top to bottom. It also sets the stage for the right kind of future star addition. One that doesn't clash with Luka's game, doesn't destroy the cap, and doesn't demand an immediate sacrifice of everything the Lakers are working to build. That opportunity may not be Giannis. It may be a player who becomes available a year or two from now, someone younger with a complementary skill set, or on a more favorable contract. By keeping their options open, the Lakers can be ready to strike when it actually makes sense, not just when the pressure is high. Think about the teams that have maintained relevance across decades. They manage assets like chess pieces, not poker chips. They look 5 moves ahead. And when the time comes, they make calculated decisions that push them closer to a championship, not ones that pull them off course in pursuit of short-term validation. In many ways, building around Luka is a chance for the Lakers to rewrite how they're perceived. Instead of being the franchise that always chases stars, they can become the franchise that builds smart, sustainable contenders. That shift isn't just philosophical, it's competitive. And in an NBA where flexibility is power, playing the long game is the ultimate weapon. Giannis may be a tempting shortcut, but shortcuts often lead to dead ends. A real dynasty isn't built overnight. It's built on purpose, on timing, on trust in a process that doesn't rush greatness but allows it to unfold naturally. The Lakers already have the hardest part figured out. They have Luka Doncic. Now they just need to have the patience to do things right. As the Los Angeles Lakers transition into a new era, the spotlight shifts to Luka Doncic, the young, talented leader set to define the franchise's future. This transition offers both excitement and risk, hope and uncertainty. While the lure of acquiring another superstar like Giannis Antetokounmpo is undeniable, the franchise must weigh that temptation against the bigger picture. The heart of this debate lies not in the talent of Giannis or the appeal of an immediate super team, but in the sustainability of success. The Lakers are at a crossroads where the right choice will either set them on a path toward enduring excellence or drag them into a cycle of instability. Over the past chapters, we've explored why adding Giannis could disrupt financial flexibility, complicate the roster composition, and muddle team chemistry. His playing style clashes with Luka's, creating on-court inefficiencies rather than harmony. The financial demands of a second max contract would limit the Lakers' ability to build depth and fill critical role player spots around their stars. More importantly, rushing to acquire another superstar can jeopardize the culture the Lakers are trying to rebuild, a culture of patience, cohesion, and clarity centered on Luka's leadership. The NBA landscape continues to evolve, with small ball lineups, pace and space offenses, and deep rotations becoming the norm. Winning teams excel through balance, star power supported by reliable role players who fit the system, not just the spotlight. The Lakers have the luxury of time with Luka Doncic entering his prime. That time should be used wisely, investing in player development, making calculated acquisitions that complement Luka's style, and cultivating a team identity that values flexibility and chemistry. History teaches that dynasties are built by smart, strategic moves rather than headline-grabbing trades. The The great franchises manage cap space, draft assets, and coaching continuity carefully, always with an eye on the future as well as the present. By resisting the urge to chase the immediate glamour of a Giannis trade, the Lakers embrace a vision of sustainable success. A vision where Luka is the unquestioned leader, surrounded by a cast built for his game. A vision where winning isn't dependent on a single move, but on the steady progress of a well-constructed plan. The road ahead won't be easy. Challenges will arise. Critics will question patience. Fans will clamor for bold moves. But the true test of leadership is in making the right decisions when the noise is loudest. For the Lakers, embracing the future means trusting Luka Doncic to lead, trusting the process to develop, and trusting themselves to build a team that competes for championships, not just headlines. The choice is clear: build for the long haul or chase quick fixes. And in the NBA, as in life, the best legacies belong to those who choose the path less taken, the one paved with vision, discipline, and resilience. The future is Luka's. The future is now.